Hey guys, this is Rudy Banks, your host of the Entrepreneur Journey. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about mindset, I talk about motivation. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in corporate America, I've done all that stuff, engineering, management, 14 plus year career, but now I'm really pouring back into you guys, pouring back into this community, sharing all my lessons learned. Today we're going to talk about real estate, why I highly recommend having real estate in your portfolio. Hey guys, welcome back. Actually, right now, I got a secret. I'm actually in a new space. Me and my wife right now, we're in a process of transitioning. We're selling our property right now, so we're doing a temporary, housing solution right now. So right now, we're selling a house, unloading a house that we've done multiple, $300,000 houses. We've been there, done that. So we've done it now. We're to the point in life now where we're trying to live maintenance free a little bit, and also have some capital that we can invest into more real estate. So that's kind of where we are at in our mindset. And today I just wanted to talk about my real estate journey and hopefully help inspire you if you're on the fence and you want to get in real estate but you just don't know where to start and you just don't think it's right for you. Stay tuned because I'm gonna do my best to share my journey. So with no further ado, let's get going. So I can remember, setting some goals. I remember in college, back on the campus of Virginia Tech, and I was exposed to a few things, earlier in life. Growing up in a duplex, we lived in one side, and my dad actually rented out the other side. So I started understanding the value of, owning real estate. And so that seed was planted early. I didn't realize I would be doing it now, but that seed was actually planted at an early age. Didn't mean anything to me at the time, but now that I look back, it makes total sense now. And so what happened, my game changer was reading this book here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And you probably heard of it, it's by Robert Kiyosaki. I always share this in my books that changed my life. Link below, I have a kit.com page. So if you want to look at books that inspired me, that helped me change my life, you can click that link below and, browse my library of books. But I remember one thing Robert said in this book, and it was all about, he said, build businesses and buy real estate. And I never forgot that. And so I had this seed planted in college. I said, man, by age 30, I'm going to own my first investment property. Now, I got married around 25, and me and my wife bought our first, townhome. And we actually still own that to this day. And I'm actually 40 now, so you can do the math. And my whole goal was to, our first property, we knew we weren't buying our dream home, but we knew we wanted something that could easily be converted into a rental later. And so we went with the townhouse route. You can go to condo. My recommendation with that is it's low maintenance. You don't have to worry about hiring somebody to, mow the lawn and all those different things. You don't have to go over there cutting grass and all that. A lot of that stuff is already taken care of through the homeowners association. You have to pay for that, but it's already included snow removal. Only thing you really have to worry about is just keeping your tenants happy and making sure those things that may need repair or renovated later on the interior of the home. That's kind of the focus. So that's rule number one for me. Start with a property. You don't need to go jumping out to your dream home, buying this big elaborate property. And I'm going to show you the first investment property here in a second, so stay tuned. And just start small, start with single family, get your feet wet. But where I'm at now in life is, I'm looking at multifamily, because the second rule is you want to minimize your risk. So when you have a single family, think about, unless you're paying cash and buying it outright, you're going to have a mortgage, you're going to have a note. So you want to minimize your overhead and your operating expenses. So start small, go with single family, but at the same time, when you're dealing with financing, if you don't have a person renting that property at a time, you're going to have to come out of pocket or come out of savings or whatever reserve you have to continue to sustain that property while you're waiting to put somebody in it. So that's the only drawback when it comes to, single families. And then also you're one repair away from depleting any reserve you might have. So as you, get your feet wet, start small, learn the business. And then when you go into multifamily, you're scaling it up. So now you're talking 3, 6, 9, 18, whatever it may be, units. And now if one unit is not rented, you still can cover your operating expenses, your taxes, whatever maintenance you might have, housekeeping, cleaning, all those things that come out of your business operating expenses. You'll be able to cover that because now you have multiple units you can spread it across. So let me know if this information is good for you. Comment below, and I'll do my best to continue to share this content. But I don't want to give you too much at one time, but I do want to make sure I hit all the points for you. So, like I said, I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, and then I bought another book from him, The ABCs of Real Estate. So I'm not just talking off the cuff, guys. This is stuff I studied, years and years ago. I studied Carlton Sheets. Everybody probably might have heard of Carlton Sheets, but the no money down guy. But let's fast forward. I'm gonna show you an actual property that I actually own. And this was my first property. I actually bought it with a partner, and we were basically starting a real estate company essentially. So we got going, and it started out as a flip, but we ended up keeping this property because it became a nice rental, and it's appreciated very well. So, and again, I met my goal. I actually bought this before I was 30. I think I was 27, 28, something like that. So this is my first investment property. So I'm gonna take you over to that. Let's go on over to Zillow. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of the interior. This property was actually, we purchased this one. It was a foreclosure. And that's another way, that's a good point of entry, because a lot of times you find a property that the bank owns. So there's no sentimental, attachment. As a homeowner, you buy it from another person, they might have put a lot of time in it. Their kids might have grew up with that house. So there's a lot of sentimental reason why people may not want to unload that property. But with a bank, it's all about business. They're trying to get out of the property as fast as they can and make as much as they can. One trick with the foreclosure, a lesson learned here was, a lot of times if you're buying a property, your realtor has their own contract forms and stuff you fill out. So we did all of that, fill all the information out, only to be rejected by the bank that was selling it. They ultimately wanted us to fill out the contract documentation on their own letterhead, their own contract. So that was one lesson learned. I guess all foreclosures may or may be different, but that's just one thing I want to share with you. Just to let you know that, again, I'm not pulling your leg, this is real stuff. But yeah, this property, we went through, did all flooring, all new appliances, painted things up, put a lot of sweat equity in this property to get it, looking nice. This bathroom was totally gutted, the floor had been rotted. Just the property wasn't well taken care of. But, it's just a nice little ranch. And it's still operating this day. The townhouse we were in, that we were living in at the time we purchased this, we still own the townhouse. We moved in another house since then, and then I'm actually in another state now. So, but these properties are still operating, they're still producing income, and that's why I like real estate. At the time, we bought the property around $84,000. This was in 2007. Now it's 2019. If you scroll up, it's estimated at 116. Property is paying for itself, and it appreciated in value. So that's why, when you start looking at real estate, that's why I highly recommend real estate, because if you can afford to wait, and don't get in that I'm going to get rich overnight mentality. You see a lot of shows on Home Depot. You see a lot of shows on HGTV about, flipping houses and things like that. You have to, you have to be a pro at that. The main thing about flipping houses, you have to get in and get out fast. Time is your worst enemy when it comes to flipping properties. The longer you're sitting on it, the more, you're not renting it out. So it's costing you money. So that's one thing. You have to have a really good, strong game plan. You got to have a good crew set up. Have all that stuff worked out before you just jump into it and just think you're gonna, get rich and make a bunch of money on your flip. You'll be like this. You jump in, you might fix it up, get it looking nice, and then if it doesn't sell, you have to have a backup plan. So our backup plan, we're renting it out. The property is still increasing, even though, we haven't sold it yet. If you look at the history, again, this is public stuff. We were going to unload it in 2010. We listed it, but we took it off the market. The market wasn't ready, so we weren't going to give the property away. And so right now we're renting it out, and it's taking care of itself. So the main thing about real estate, there are some rules of thumb, and I'll give you a few tips. If you're gonna, buy some property, make sure you buy in a decent neighborhood. Don't buy, listen to me carefully, don't buy the best house in the worst neighborhood. Don't buy the best house in the best neighborhood. You want to buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. The reason why I say that, if all the other houses are worth this much, and you can come in and buy a house, if all the houses are worth this much and you can come in at this level and put a little bit of money in that property, now you got a lot of room for growth. But if you're already buying at the top of the market, it's just like stocks. They say buy low, sell high. Real estate is the same thing. So it's all about the location. You always hear that on the HGTV shows. It's really true, because if you can, I remember our first property. Granted, we didn't buy at the top, but we probably could have bought a little bit cheaper and gave ourselves more headroom. And by the time you put your money in, so we put $30,000 in that property, or whatever the number was, 20,000 or something like that. Now it gives us less room, to play as far as profit and to sell the property. Whereas if you can come in really, really low, I'm going to do some other videos too. I'm going to show you some sites where you can really find some really gems. I'll show that in another video. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and I'll make sure I do that for you. But the main thing is, if you can buy low, now you give yourself so much more potential. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies. Again, you can buy and flip, you can buy and rent, sell. You can also do something called wholesaling. And that's basically you going out finding properties for another investor. You charge a small commission, and you don't even buy the house. You don't even sign you sign a contract, but you're not having to finance anything. And you're making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 right off the bat, just as a finder's fee. It's called wholesaling. And I'll help you share some of those strategies with you as well. Now, if you really want, a structure course, or you want a book or something like that, again, I recommend, if you haven't read these are good reads for you. But there's also, if you haven't heard of Grant Cardone, I'm gonna take you over to some of his course offerings. Grant has a lot of great information. He's actually starting his own investment, fund, but that's really for accredited investors. So if you got a net worth of, $250, $1 million, something like that, then you can get into his program. But I just want to show you a little bit what Les has. I want to show you a little bit what Grant Cardone has in his program. So let me take you over to that. So here's one book you can check out, How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate, and he goes through how to do the calculations, how to use debt. So this is a very book I would highly recommend for you to check out as well. It's more up to date as far as the strategies and stuff. And this guy is really, he's blowing my mind. Like right now, reason why me and my wife, we're restructuring. The reason why right now, we're restructuring some things. I'm following this principle that Grant's talking about, as like rent where you live, but you can, but own where you rent. Now that might just totally, go against, the American dream, the picket fence, the college degree, and all these things you're supposed to do. But like I say, we've already been there and done it. It's just the two of us. We've had houses in excess of $300,000, big houses, but now we're starting to realize what's most important. We love to travel. I love my music. I'm an entrepreneur now, so things have changed. Our goals have changed. Our focuses have changed, and so now we're renting where we live, and now we're freeing up cash flow because we're not being held down by a big house, paying a bunch of taxes. I'm actually in New York, so that speaks for itself. I mean, full disclosure, in Virginia, compared to where we're at now, New York, in New York, my my real estate taxes are almost three times as much as what we paid for the same square footage of a house in Virginia, the part of Virginia we live in, Southwest Virginia. So we're flipping some things down around. It might sound unorthodox, but I attribute it to Grant Cardone's teachings. So he has a book, how to invest in real estate. Let's see what else he has. This is a pretty significant program, How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate program. That's a 10K program. I haven't been purchased that, but this is definitely one, I'm interested in as well. Introduction to Multifamily Apartment Investing. That's definitely where I'm headed right now. Finding the deals, doing the evaluations. Another thing when it comes to single family versus when you start getting into multifamily and commercial, after a while it's no longer about what you have. It's not about how much money you got in the bank, how much money is in your pockets. It's about what the property can produce. So when you look at, buying your first house, the bank's going to look at your credit. They're going to look at, can this person afford this property? Do they have enough money in the bank? Can they afford a down payment? All those things. Once you start getting into multifamily, now you're looking at the property itself, based on the operating statement of that property. The previous owner should have the documentation to show you, here's my running costs, here's what it costs to run this property, here's what I'm making in rent proceeds, my cat rate, and all those different things you need to know in order to justify, that asset. And that property should be able to pay for itself. We're in a complex right now. I mean, there's hundreds of units out here, and you got an office staff, you've got maintenance crew, all these different things. All these things are the part of that to keep that complex running. Everything has to balance out. That business has to make a profit. Now, coming in, we're going to look at it just like I told you before. When you start looking at single family, the location, what's the market value, what are the other properties selling for, can I get in at a good point? So Grant teaches you in a lot of his trainings, how to find the right property, the proper evaluation to ensure that, it makes sense to buy that property. And when you do that, now you set yourself up for a good chance to make a profit, because now you can come in, look at a property and actually say, well, man, if I spend $10,000 or $15,000 or whatever the number may be, I can get this property up to this level and still make money. And that's the key. Buy low, buy the right location, and now you set yourself up for success in real estate. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you got some great information out of this. I shared a few nuggets for you just to give you my background in real estate. I do have other property. I'm not going to, spill the beans and show everything I have. I'm just not that type of person. But I do have other, investment properties, have some land as well. But what I really am trying to do is just bring you more content. I've done a lot of stuff on marketing, digital marketing. And I will continue to do that because, I've shared that for marketers, but I also want to help musicians. I'm a musician. And so I'm going to bring you more content there. But I definitely feel that, real estate, with all the stuff that's going on with stocks, all the things that are going on with Bitcoin, I've been there, done that too. I really think real estate is a solid investment when it comes to, your investment portfolio. So if this information has helped you, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will do my best to bring you more great content. Check out the resources in the links below. Again, I've shared some stuff from Robert Kiyosaki. I've shared some content from Grant Cardone. And guys, you got to go take action. I'm here for your best interest. And you don't have to make the same mistakes I did starting out, but you do have to take action. So with that being said, go forth in victory, and I'll see you in another episode. Peace.